Hey guys, what's going on? We are here again with another special guest. This one is a doozy. This guy I just really started to get to know over the past maybe couple weeks or so, just through similar interests, and he pops up on my live streams every once in a while and gives his insight. And he's just like Crash is. He's definitely a plethora of information, and he is a gem for airheads like me. So without further ado, Quentin from Wicked Journey, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor and allow you to kind of do your thing. Let us know where we can find you and all the things that you cover and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. Yeah, my channel's name is Wicked Journey. I'm on YouTube mostly, and my first name's Quentin, so I've revealed that in my video. So either way, but I basically got started because I thought I could use this as like a side hustle to make some extra cash because I'm in my 50s, so I kind of like want to retire.
Yeah,
Soon.
someday. That's a goal
Yeah,
of everybody. Cheers.
yeah. But it was just like when you watch the YouTube channels, it's kind of like you see everybody do all this, all the perks they get, and you're like, wow, I want to do that. I'm sorry, guys, that's not reality, man. It's like it's really hard work
Yeah.
to do all that stuff. They make it look like fun, but it's really a lot of work.
Yeah.
And if you want to be perfect, you're doing the shot like over and over and over again, which I don't believe in that. It's not about wasting time. It's
Mm-hmm.
about, you're making a reality video. How much
Yep.
more real is it to leave in the mistakes? You're like, why do I keep calling you like Disneyland, DCA or something? I mean, I saw it in my video instead of saying like Disney's California Adventure. I said Disneyland California Adventure, and I, hand to my forehead, I go, you find it after you leave, you can't redo it. So you
Yep.
just leave it in.
Those are my favorite parts of my videos sometimes. I just did one this week where I went on a whole diatribe about because I could hear them sanding something on the log ride. And I thought they
Yeah.
were sanding the flume up at the top. So I'm like filming, I'm shooting the flume, like, yeah, and they're sanding this right before the drop, before you go into the cave. And last year they were working on the lift and stuff. And then I panned down, I was like, oh, never mind. He's sanding this pillar right here in the line. And I was wrong the whole time. Don't listen to me. But I kept it in because I just thought it was a funny thing. And a lot of times people like you to be humbled. Yeah.
No, that's what they like. They like seeing that. I mean, like, out of the Disney, vloggers, I like watching Chris Rogers because he messes up all the time, but he leaves it in.
Yeah.
And it's just hilarious. And that's how he, was getting popular with that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
what's the old adage? If you can't laugh at yourself.
exactly. And I'll have people in the background, like, doing stuff behind me and stuff. And I'm just shaking my head as I'm
Yep.
talking, trying to concentrate. And then I'll get off, once I'm done. And I go, hey, I saw you, And I even had one guy beg me, like, don't edit me out. I go, don't worry, I won't. And so I put him in my thumbnail.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're live and up front now, dude. You
Yeah,
asked for it.
that was funny.
Last year I had a group of kids in line for Ghost Rider. I was just filming down, sometimes that line gets really long, and I was shooting down there and they were yelling at me that they don't consent to be on camera and blah 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 blah. So I keep going, and then I turned it off and I went back to them and I said, I can cut you guys out. They're like, no, we want to be in it. We just want it to be funny. And I'm like, man, well, I'll leave you in it, but you're going to come across as a bit of a goon. But they're still in there somewhere. I don't even remember what video that was, but real life is a lot more interesting than fiction, especially with like YouTubers.
Yeah, and I think that's what we all try to do is create like a real life video of our day, but yet we're also doing reviews on stuff or updates for the viewers, and it makes it interesting than when you script stuff or you set up stuff. I mean, you can kind of tell you're looking at it.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
I can't do it, and I'll click off.
Yeah. It's like I tried this week. I tried to add a tag at the end of the video before my sign out to uh, like and subscribe and leave a comment. And I watched it back and went, no, it just seems too manufactured. I don't know. Like I still have not brought myself to say that in a video and leave it in. And it's funny because my kids were watching, they were just watching videos that I shot years ago.
Yeah.
And one thing that Kinley, my daughter, said was, she's like, one thing you don't ever do is you don't ask people to like and subscribe. She's like, I like that. It doesn't, because when you do that, like, I feel like you're just kind of begging for favor. And I'm like, well, a lot of people do that because just the analytics say that it helps a lot with your numbers. I just kind of like, my feeling toward it is, if you can do it, then do it, please. I just personally haven't brought myself to feel not icky when I do it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have to kind of just get over, because this whole YouTube thing has been a slow progression for me. I've never felt super comfortable on camera, doing selfie stuff, holding the camera out and, just talking with life going on behind me.
Right.
But that's, overcoming small obstacles is, and like you said, that's part of the work that you put in.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, and not everybody is super charismatic on camera. And that's not something that you can really force, but I feel like, a lot of times authenticity will go a lot further than charisma. And with,
Yes.
especially with YouTubers, you can kind of tell the difference nowadays, between people that are just kind of faking it to make it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
people that just genuinely are good at it and enjoy it. I mean, that's something that also comes out, is enjoying it. You really want to enjoy the journey,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Of course. No, I
That's
mean, and anybody who happens to watch my videos, I never asked to, like and subscribe to my videos. I did
yeah.
early on, and you try to do like a catchphrase that people try to remember. And, after a while, it's like, God, I feel like I have my styrofoam cup and I'm there, right there at the signal holding it out and, asking people for money. And it's like, God, it's so uncomfortable to
Yeah.
get you to do that. And so I just go, I'm never going to do that. If I do a live, I'm not going to have super chats on, you know.
Hmm.
I mean, the only time I'd probably put that on would be, if people like, I was trying to like get a point across and you missed what I was trying to ask you. So, I'm like, well, okay, well then if I do that, I'll limit the super chats to 99 cents,
Right. Yeah, of course.
I'm not going to take like, $300 from you. I'm like, no, dude. No, not okay. Now I got to do a whole act. I got to get my motorcycle out. I don't own a motorcycle. I'm just saying,
You should.
light up the fire
We're talking about
ring and,
freedom.
jump through a
A
flaming
hoop.
hoop
Yeah.
for the $300. I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
Dance for me,
I'm not a
clown.
trained monkey. Yeah, I'm not a
Yeah.
trained monkey. I do what I do because I enjoy it. I've met a lot of friends or good friends. We do cross contamination on each other's videos,
Yeah. That's one of my
and it's
favorite things to
fun.
do too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
it's fun to
collaboration with
do.
other people. I'm still getting to that point to where I'm still meeting people. That was my goal this year. So last year my goal was to get over 1,000 subscribers. This year my goal is to um basically meet all y'all and kind of become friends and become part of the community. And then
Okay.
next year, who knows? So I'm working on it. I'm working at it, and we'll get there. I swear we'll get there. So,
Oh,
okay.
I think you're there already, but
Thanks, man.
you know,
It's a
you
slow
got like
burn.
2,000 subscribers already, right?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Um,
Nowhere near that.
it's I'd be lying if I didn't say I probably paid for a few hundred of those, but there was a point in time where I got scared and I was like, well, I'm gonna try this and see if it works. And then it went up and then it went down. And I don't know. It's a whole the paying for subscribers is kind of a whole. That's a whole different Pandora's box in and of itself.
Yeah,
But let's talk about. You said you went to DCA for the Food and
I
Wine
did.
Festival.
Yes, I
I
also went for the Lunar New Year as well.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yes.
Well, okay. So describe that because I haven't been to Disney in probably 2 years now. But we were talking a little bit about it earlier, but just kind of describe kind of how everything went and the difference between the foods between the two festivals and just um how Disney handles these festivals now that seem to be kind of a yearly thing for them.
Well, with the Lunar Festival, that was the first time they went like an all digital type food card. They used to have like tabs that you have to rip off and then you hand it to
Mm-hmm.
the cast member to get your food. And they didn't do that. So they had something different. So everybody was kind of excited. Now, finally, like, because like if you accidentally remove the tab, there's a chance that they won't take it. It's like, where'd you get that? You know?
Yikes.
So now it's like it's all digital, it's all counted. So there's like no mistake that, you bought like six tabs or how are they going to put it now? And for the price of, I think the Lunar was about $45 for six tastings. And
Okay.
Crash and I were there and we both shared everything and we went through all six. And that was like everything was of like a perfect size because we weren't like overly stuffed. We got to try a lot of food, got to review a lot of food. And
Mhm.
then we did add one because I'm a sucker for bread pudding.
You and my wife both, man.
Oh my
Oh,
my goodness. They have like a really good bread pudding at the what used to be the Pacific Wharf Cafe. Now it's the Antikas Cafe, I think it is.
hmm.
That pineapple upside down bread pudding. And I'm like, man, it was delicious.
Yeah,
You can
it's
make faces, but
yeah.
you know what?
I just bread pudding is just not my jam. But hey, more power to you, man.
But I
That's
mean, they instead of using like a sponge cake, they're
mhm.
using a cinnamon roll.
That's not bad.
It has a
That's a good
good
idea.
texture, and if it's caramelized, you
Hmm.
get a little crunchiness to it. I'm like,
Okay.
this is
Yeah.
probably like the best bread pudding. Yeah,
Now I'm gonna have to try that.
it's
Thanks.
really good. Like if you go to Knott's, they'll use like a angel food cake, and
Yeah.
sometimes the texture is a little slimy, and you're like,
That's my basis for bread pudding.
Yeah,
That's
I
what because that's what Andrea gets. She gets it at all the festivals and stuff. She Mary Farm, and she'll just get it in the bakery sometimes. And I'm just like, "Ugh," that's just not my thing. But she loves it. So that's my basis for bread pudding is not bread pudding.
yeah, no, I understand. I mean, their last one was actually pretty good. The whiskey one, that was good.
Was
It
it
didn't have that slimy texture to it.
okay?
So, but the one
Okay.
before, yeah, it was pretty slimy. That's why I know what you were talking about. Like, it's the texture.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. And then the food and wine. So this is a little like this. This is less specific of a food type, right? The food and wine festival. It's a little bit more diverse as far as like
Yeah, it's a little more
theme.
diverse. You have a little bit of everything. And one of the highlights that I had discovered when I started going there like a couple of years ago is their impossible and plant-based are usually really good.
Mhm.
And since there was like three of us there, we all came to the same conclusion, like what happened? Why does it taste so bad? The textures weren't right.
Mhm.
I mean, like the chicken parm bites, they basically tasted like frozen, chicken nuggets you can buy at Albertsons or Stater Brothers
That's a
that
shame.
weren't microwaved correctly.
Ugh, that
Yeah, we're
sucks,
like,
man.
yeah, and it's like, ew. The beef
Mm.
stroganoff, I even say it. I go, I'm not a big fan of beef stroganoff. Taste it, and there's like hardly any flavor.
Yeah, that sucks. I love beef stroganoff too. I would have been very upset.
Yeah, and when you get to the stuff that's not plant-based or impossible meat, it was actually really good.
Well, you got to tell
Really
me about the
good.
macaroon
Oh,
with
the
the Snickers.
macarons, God, that's always a favorite. It tastes good. I mean, it just
Yeah,
tastes like eating a Mickey shaped Snickers bar, right?
Oh, dude.
It's delicious.
I'm all on board for that, man. I just saw the picture just in the video montage in the beginning.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? That not
Yeah.
only did it look delicious, but
It, it's, it stands out to you, says this is what Josh is missing
that's
because he doesn't have a magic key.
it's true. And I pass it up every year. I have passes to 3 other parks and not Disneyland. It's just
I
that's
hear
my
you.
fault.
Well, I almost didn't renew my magic key. It was just the state of where Disney is at.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, in order for them to change, I have to speak with my wallet
Yeah,
because as long as you're paying money, they're never going to change. And
it's
you
true.
know, I I don't want to get too far into it because I don't know how you feel about politics on your channel, so I'm not going to you know dive deep into it and
My
what my opinions are.
I don't it's one of those things where I mean, like we said before, reality is more interesting than fiction a lot of the times. But
Right.
Disney's a very divisive subject because people either really like Disney or people like really don't like Disney. And I kind of hover in between because
Right.
my kids grew up at that park. I took for the first 4 or 5 years of their lives. We did that every week. We would go to Disneyland, and I
Yeah.
loved it. And I don't know, something happened when they shut the parks down and reopened them, and we re-upped our Magic Keys again in 2021. I think is when they brought them back. They
Yeah. Went
reinstated
back
them.
on sale. Yeah.
Yeah, and we went maybe 6 times throughout that whole year, and it was the
Wow.
reservation system made it hard.
Yeah.
And the kids would just tell me, I don't really know if like this isn't as fun. It's something feels off. Like the magic doesn't feel right. And
Right.
it was one of those things where I was allowing it time to get through the growing pains that it was going to have to kind of just go through again because I was like, look, the whole world went through this, this anomaly. So we all
Yeah.
kind of have to work together to get back to what is normal. And I don't know, Disney went in this other direction that I think just the company as a whole is just too big for its britches now, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. Like when you
Well,
buy Fox and Marvel and Star Wars and now Epic Games, how far do you have to go before you realize, look, I'm kind of becoming a bit of a monster. I should probably reel myself in and focus on the issues that are actually going on within the things that I can control rather than
yeah.
trying to mask them with something else, which is kind of, I don't know. I feel like that's what they're doing with this Epic Games thing because who knows what's going to happen with Fortnite now. I mean, I don't think they're going to want Mickey and Donald running around an island shooting people. I would
Well,
assume that, I mean, you've got the closest they ever got with that was what was it, Kingdom Hearts,
yeah.
which is Final Fantasy esque. But I don't know, like it's just one of those things where Disney, it's a weird subject. I know I went off on a
Yeah.
rant there.
Well, no, it's hard to touch on what's actually going on without, getting political. And that's why I
Yeah,
said I don't want to get political on your channel, especially when I don't do it on mine,
yeah,
because, sometimes that could be, channel suicide, If I'm
yeah.
going to commit Harry Carey, I'm going to talk politics. You know, I'm just going to, self-inflict pain, because I just
Yeah,
don't like what I'm doing and I want my channel to die.
yeah,
But it's
it's
just
true. Yeah,
I like Disneyland only because I love their rides.
yeah,
That's it. And food and wine, knowing that everything's supposed to taste good when half the things you eat was like not palatable to three of us. It wasn't like one of us just like loved it. It was
hmm
all three. And then when we got out of the, the non, when we got out of the plant-based and the impossible stuff, everything was tasting really good again. We're just like, what happened?
Yeah.
Everything was good last year.
Makes you
And
wonder.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like when you watch your favorite Disney YouTubers, you're kind of like, are they being honest or are they just saying that to please Disney so
Mhm.
they can still get the perks?
Yeah. And that's a big, again, that comes with kind of being able to tell the difference between um, authenticity and wearing a mask.
Yeah, I think the best one to really watch is actually Mr. Cheesy Pop with RJ. They're brutally honest,
Mhm.
and they kind of concurred with us on everything, you know.
Yeah. That's, I mean,
So
yeah. And sometimes, I mean, I don't know, Disney, they need somebody bigger than them to kind of kick them in the butt. And right now, there's nobody bigger. They're the
yeah,
blob. They're eating everything in
yeah,
their way.
and
Oh my gosh, this is getting so bright.
yeah, they shouldn't do that. They just all they need to do is just concentrate on like making the parks a better experience because that's their cash cow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
true.
that's all they need to do. They just need to do that. Stop making movies for a while because you're just totally like trashing your own studios.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'll give you a slight example. I tried watching the live action Little Mermaid on Disney Plus.
Hmm.
30 minutes into it, I had to shut it off. I'm like, it's not about like race swapping the main character. I mean, Haley Bailey did a great job. I mean,
Hmm.
she's got a great singing voice. She was acting the way she should and everything like that. I couldn't get past the different races in one family. It just
Hmm.
told me something else. I would
Yeah.
have preferred like, you know, the Little Mermaid's family if they were just all black. And then you got to meet the rest of the mermaids, and then you had diversity
Hmm.
in there. That would have made more sense.
Right.
And the only thing that you can get away with is like if you had like a trans sister and a gay sister. I'm like, okay, I can believe that. That's
Hmm.
fine. You know, I don't have any problems with that. But when you
Hmm.
have different races, you know, in the same family, you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get past that. And the one thing I couldn't get past was like the reality of a live action is you have a bird that goes into the water, which was Scuttle,
Okay.
doing like trying to tell Ariel all the different treasures that she found, what they are. And then you're sitting there and go, wait a minute, they're underwater. I don't know any bird that can breathe underwater. And then as they were like swimming
Much less
away,
talk.
well, no, they were talking. But
Right.
the funny part was as they separated and were going their own ways, you just heard in the background where the bird goes, where Scuttle goes, I better go up and get some air. What? What?
It's
From
just
that point, I
lazy,
just
man.
shut it off.
It's just
But
lazy
when,
storytelling.
yeah, but when an animated movie gets it right, where they're above the water talking to Scuttle,
Hmm.
you would think the animated version would just be underwater. But that
Yeah.
wasn't the case. It was the live action. I go, I can't deal with this.
Yeah. There's some things where you can't suspend disbelief so much to where anything. That's why I actually have a hard time watching Fast and Furious movies now. Like I know that they're supposed to be just over the top crazy, like just whatever. It's James Bond on steroids, but like
Right.
when it just gets too crazy, I'm like, okay, like it's just I
Yeah.
want to have fun with this, but I talk about it every time I go through every time I do the tram tour at Universal Studios, and
Yeah.
it ends with that Fast and Furious supercharged show, and I'm just like, oh, just come on, like you've got this
But
tractor that's pulling G's basically on the street
yeah.
while lifting up a pickup truck that's got a flamethrower in the back, and a guy standing back there threatening you while he's being flung into oblivion gets blown up in the building, but he's not dead because that's just the way. Fast and Furious. Nobody dies in Fast and Furious.
Nobody does. Yeah.
And then
I'll
you've
just
got.
be glad you didn't watch Fast X.
We tried. We got through about.
That was the worst.
We got through. It was the scene where they're basically doing Rocket League in Italy or something with a bomb.
Yeah.
That whole thing, and I was just like, I can't. And she keeps telling me too. She's like, we need to finish this movie. I'm like, babe, I love you, but I don't think I can. I just don't think I can finish it. Like, it's just, I can't believe in so much ridiculousness. And that's just my personality. That's me a lot. I mean, look, the movie made a lot of money. The movies will always make a lot of money. I mean, it's getting a friggin' roller coaster at the park and probably going to replace Springfield in a couple years. So obviously they did something right for the masses. I'm unfortunate enough to live in Los Angeles, where no matter how far you try to run from it, you do become a little bit of a movie snob. You just I went to school and I worked in Hollywood for a couple of years, so I was around those people a lot, and a lot of their personality traits when it came to the industry kind of rubbed off on me. I was friends with a lot of movie critics and writers and stuff. And so it's just, unfortunately, that's just kind of who I am. But I didn't let it kill me completely. I still do enjoy a good popcorn flick.
Oh, I do too. I just thought that was so ridiculous. I know Fast and Furious is ridiculous, but that was just like, okay, how many backstabs can we get in this one movie?
Yeah.
And you end it this way, and then there's going to be a part 2, and I'm like, you guys got so ridiculous. I think you probably killed part 2 already, because I'm not going to watch it. It was so bad.
Well, now, I mean, the thing is, Vin Diesel just doesn't want it to end. He doesn't really have anywhere to go past this. So he's just like, let's make a part 3 and then a part 4. And it's just like, well, you're going to have Fast X part 6 soon. You're just doing sequels of sequels. And he's making some sort of like reverse movie Inception.
Well, he does have another franchise that they take their time with, and that's the Riddick.
The Riddick stuff. Yeah. I do like those movies. I did.
Yeah, I do too. I enjoy them too. There's a little bit of ridiculousness to it, but it's not as bad.
It's in space, so it's a little bit more forgivable.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm not there. There's probably a different gravity on the planet. That's why he can jump so high and far. I get it, But no, it's just how they word it, and they keep the same crew. Whereas I think with Fast X, I think it was James Wan. I think he's or no, it's
not James Wan. No.
Justin Lin.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I don't think he did Fast X. I think he had to leave the series.
Oh, did he really?
Well, I mean, it's like trying to think of all the crazy stuff to put in there. I mean,
that guy doesn't believe in physics at all.
No,
a guy does not believe physics is a thing. That's why I wanted to give him a chance for that third Star Trek movie that he did with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto. And
that one was terrible. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I was so sad. I was so sad at how not good it was.
Yeah.
All right, so let's rein it back in. We were talking about food festivals. Have you done food festivals I know you've done them at Knott's. I'm sure you have.
Right.
So you've done Knott's, DCA. Have you done have you ever done the one at Magic Mountain? The Foods Around the World or whatever it's called?
I do have a season pass that I bought several months ago when they offered like a 70% off our season passes. I'm like, really? So I go, well, how much is the highest one, which is like the Platinum Plus or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It was like $180 for like the rest of 2023 and all of 2024. And I'm like, well, that's a heck of a deal.
You're going to lose money on that.
Well, this was prior to the merge between Cedar Parks and Six Flags.
Oh, okay.
that Six Flags was losing money anyway. It's like, oh, what the
Yeah.
heck? Let's just give some ridiculous discount that maybe they'll at least go once. But hey, we got their money.
Yeah. And then hopefully they spend money in the park. That's what they bank on, man. They bank on you spending money in the park.
And I think they're going to do that under Cedar Fair because
Mm-hmm.
they're already doing it. They're already making improvements. I mean, they're small, but they're improvements that people are liking. And then
Yep.
they're doing stuff like, was it Screen Break?
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. Everybody's like, what? What?
Did you go
Park
last
during
year?
like, I didn't because I didn't
Oh
know
man.
about it, but
Oh, it was a
I'm
blast. We
always
had so
watching.
much fun.
Well, if there's stuff I need to know, and it's just like
Yeah.
I contact Randy. It's like, dude, what's going on, man? Because you're like it everywhere, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
I
I'm hoping to go to Six Flags for one of their food festivals. I don't know if
Mhm.
I can make the Screen Break, but
Well, the good
you
news is
know,
Spring Break is like 3 or 4 weeks this year. It was only like
yeah.
one weekend last year. So if you knew
Well,
about it, you knew, but if you didn't, you missed it.
yeah, I was kind of hoping that it would extend like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it's
Yeah.
only Saturday, Sunday, and then the food festival is only Friday, Saturday, and I'm like,
Mm.
well, I don't know how that makes sense, but I think it's just budget and trying to
Yeah.
staff that,
Well, the
which
park,
is
it's weird when the park is in the off season, the park is only open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and some Mondays. And
yeah,
then, yeah, so like all through January and February and the first half of March, like it's not even open Tuesday through Thursday.
right,
So, I mean, that's kind of how they get away with being a year-round park is just
yeah,
being open on weekends. And I'm okay with that. I think that's why I appreciate Knott's so much because while Knott's did cut their hours back this year by opening up at 11 instead of 10, I
yeah,
still very much appreciate them uh, being open every day unless it rains, unless it sprinkles a little bit, and then they got closed.
yeah.
But
No, they've done a great job. Knott's always thinks outside of the box. I
yeah,
mean, when everything closed down, who was the one that came up with food festivals?
yep,
Knott's. I
that's
mean, why
correct.
couldn't Disneyland do that?
No comment.
I mean, they're
They
just
were looking
5
somewhere
miles
else.
away from. Yeah, they're in the same district as Knott's, and how is it that
Yeah,
Knott's can find a loophole to everything, keep everybody,
I
6 feet
know.
away, but you still have people come into the park and enjoy food.
Yeah, yeah.
I can
It's
understand Universal and Six Flags because their restrictions were a lot
yeah. That's LA County. It
crueler.
was much different. Yeah,
Yeah, it was cruel to do that to the people. So
yeah,
yeah, Disney. I'm just like, Disney, where are you? And then when they actually do have a food festival, it's like everybody forgot what Knott's did, and it was like a ghost town at Knott's
yeah.
during their last like you know closed down food festival, and
Right.
everybody went to Disney. It
Yeah.
was just like, wow.
That's. I mean, it's like the Apple Microsoft thing.
Yeah,
When Microsoft comes up with an operating system, and then Tim Cook comes along and basically emulates it, slaps an Apple on it, says, "But this is a little bit better."
yeah,
Everybody goes to Apple and they forget all about Microsoft. It's just one of those things where, what have you done for me lately? And while Knott's is good at leading the charge at some stuff, and look, they are actually doing something that Disney's been doing for a couple of years too now with the single use fast pass stuff that they're
yeah,
bringing up, which
yeah.
we were talking about how they're finding ways to make money. God, this is so bright in the video. Like it's just like Jesus is coming through the window.
I know,
But this is what happens when I start talking about knots.
I
Here it
know.
comes. The
Ooh,
Holy Spirit hath filled my
exactly.
room. But Knott's they're doing a good job at trying to find ways at bringing in money because I mean, half that park is being worked on right now. Half the park is
Right,
being renovated. And
right.
I think that like this is kind of it's a bit polarizing because there's a lot of people that hate it, that hate the
Yeah,
idea of fast passes just in general. much less a single-use fast pass, a paper ride. And then there's
Right.
people like me who actually think it's a great idea. And when Disney implemented it, I actually thought it was a good idea. Not for the same reasons that Knott's is doing it. Knott's is doing it, I think, as a means to increase cash flow while not uh, penalizing like me and you as pass holders. Like not rate. I don't
Right.
think they're going to raise season passes next year. If they do, it would be very incremental, not even noticeable. They do things like, and this gets beat up a lot too, but like they decrease portion size. Sometimes they go a little overboard with that. Sometimes I don't even notice it.
Yeah.
But I think that the single-use fast pass, I kind of hope that it catches on. We'll see in the summer when the park gets crowded again, just how well it does. But I think it's a great idea.
No, it's a good idea. The thing that I look out for is, are they going to raise the prices depending on what day it is? Like Saturday, if it goes up to like $10,
Yeah,
per
they are.
ticket or something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
see, that could probably generate a problem because I would prefer if they're going to do 750, stick with the 750 for a little while until you kind of get a gauge on like, is this going to be successful or not? And then you can kind of, incrementally raise the prices.
Instead of
But
turning
if you're
people
going to,
off to it right away.
right, because if
Okay.
you like do what Disney does, and depending on how many people are in the park, like Rise of the Resistance, you could pay up to $30 per person
Yeah.
just to ride the ride, and that's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep it at 750 to kind of like analyze, how many people are going to actually use this? Because, right now we're facing what Disney did, and that's a big turnoff to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to get people in and out to enjoy the parks and stuff like that. And that's why we do it. Now, if they limit it, that's different too. Like,
Yeah.
we're only going to like issue out 1,000 per ride. And then once that's gone, then it's just standby only.
Right.
So I mean, but I don't think really has a problem with the fast lane like Disney does.
That's true. Yeah.
Problem.
Well, and Disney's problem with the fast lane is that they're just always busy.
Yeah.
So the lines are always long. I will say, Knott's, I think I said this with Crash too. Knott's main issue is their operations, the loading and offloading of their rides. Those lines move way too slow, and if they upped the if they improve their operations, that would actually help just in the standby line in general.
Right.
And I don't know if that's something that they really want to do, if they really want to push these fast passes, because then if the standby line is going, if it's moving, you really have no incentive to pay the extra money to go right in. The other
Right.
thing, the other thing, and this is where I could see a bit of a turnoff with the fast passes is you see kind of what Fastlane does to the standby lines at Disneyland, where it slows them down dramatically. Because, like you said, like there's a problem with everybody's got the fast passes. The Genie Plus kind of clogs everything up. So when you have 30% of the park in the fast pass in a fast pass queue, that's basically shutting the other 70% off until they go. And the ratio, I don't know. I was Fresh Baked Disney was doing a whole thing on this back when they started implementing Genie Plus back into the park, and he was kind of watching the ratios of fast pass to normal standby, and it was like something like 21-1 or something ridiculous like that. And when you have a line, a fast pass line that's long and that doesn't really stop, then if you're in the standby queue, then what's the point of being there? You're stuck. You're not going to move. And that's the only problem I could see Knott's having, is those standby queues just being locked at a standstill.
Right.
Because
And
they are already anyway.
I don't know if he ever saw this video, but it was basically theme park obsession, and his channel is now called Hey Bricky. They did a
Yep.
comparison. They one of them was doing Genie Plus, and the other one was just doing Standby,
Mm-hmm.
and they had planned it all out, and it was just like an hour video, and it was just amazing, like how much at that time Genie Plus was working well to where you're just in the standby line going, yeah, I'm like spending an hour and a half in line,
Yeah.
whereas Genie Plus was just like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But now that they're, I guess they're opening up their reservations more, they're letting more people in the park, you've got that like that current of people that you're just like, okay, I need to get over there, but if I miss the spot where I'm supposed to transition over, I'm going to keep following this current of people to an area I don't want to go right now.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening is they keep opening up their reservations because they need more money
Mm-hmm.
and more revenue to generate. And then Genie Plus, everybody's like, I'll just get Genie Plus. I'll be able to go through all these rides like really quick. And you wind up waiting just about as long as if you were in standby, if not longer.
Yeah. That's a shame, man. And that's why I don't have a magic key right now. I don't. There's no avenue to really me seeing myself having a very good time at that park at the current moment. At the current.
Yeah, I mean, I would make a reservation for Disneyland, and then my anxiety level would just like go through the roof. It's just like, and I wind up talking myself out of it, and I'll just cancel the reservation or I'll modify it to a different day. Maybe
Mhm.
next week will be a little bit better for me. And I'm like, whew, God, it's like I don't want to pay like $30 to park, or
Yeah.
if I usually go to the garden walk and park, and I
Mhm.
pay this last round, I think I paid $18 for like 5 hours.
That's not bad, dude.
No, because you get
Without
the
a
first hour for,
validation.
yeah, without about, but you get your first hour for free, and then there used to be $3 an hour, now it's 4, because they're trying to keep up with Disney. If Disney
Of course.
raises it, so do they.
Yeah.
I know when I did the Lunar Festival, this was me like coming back without having to do a theme park in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I parked at Toy Store and paid my like $28 to park because that's my 25% discount.
Right.
And I knew I was going to be exhausted. So I just wanted to take the bus here and there
Mm-hmm.
from parking to the parks. And yeah, by the time I got to my car, I just sat in there and go, I'm so tired. I don't know if I could drive.
That's
But
sick.
this last one, I just parked at the garden walk, and I saved a little. I saved like $10 because I
Yeah.
was there for like 5 or 6 hours.
And you're technically
And
closer.
yeah, and I need to walk too because
Yeah.
I'm going to these food festivals and then I sit at home. I don't really do much of anything, and so it's not like I'm expanding my stomach to fit in more food.
Right.
My stomach's expanding, but it I did have like surgery done for a hernia, and it's like, yeah, the patchwork they did is just like it feels like it's ripping apart sometimes
Mm-hmm.
as I get larger, and I'm like, nope, nope, no, I can't gain weight. That's why like I'm like, I don't know if I can continue doing these food festivals, so I'm just like, I gotta invite friends. The only way I
Good
can do
call.
it, try the food. Yeah, there's
And
just
what's
no
a
way
food
that
festival without friends?
exactly you get everybody's opinion.
Yeah.
And they may not align with yours, but that's okay because you're giving the audience, like, well, he liked it, but I didn't like it. And
Mm-hmm.
then these are the reasons, like I didn't like the texture or
Right.
something was not right. And we're eating out of the same dish,
Mm-hmm.
which gives a great variant to your audience. It's not like
Yeah.
we each had our different ones, and then they're
Right.
like, why does yours look different than mine?
Yeah.
Even though it's the same item. There's none of that. We share. It's like it's either like unanimous that we like it, or there's different like yeah, it's like, well, I'm gonna give it a lower rating because of this. Oh, okay, and we don't like yell at each other and go, well, you know what, you're fake.
Mhm.
We have our own opinions, and that's why I said, like with Disney, when all three of us are saying it's bad, something's wrong.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And I mean, and it's very much probably because they went with a different service with the food. Tried to cut a couple corners, like you said, they're hemorrhaging money right now. So the
Yeah,
quality's got to be
it's
felt. It's gonna be felt somewhere. And unfortunately,
right, and
I
it's
think you felt it
usually the customer.
in your gut.
It's usually the
Yeah. Well,
customer.
it's always the customer.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. It's sometimes it can be the employees too, and when that happens, it's a bit of a shame.
Yeah,
Um,
I wish I can divulge some of the information talking to a cast member.
yeah,
It just doesn't look good.
yeah.
It doesn't look
I've
good.
heard some stories, man. Um,
Yeah,
but that's neither here nor there.
right.
Did you go? Oh no, you're going to Knott's tomorrow, right?
Going to Knott's tomorrow,
Okay,
which is
which
March
Friday?
8th on a Friday,
Yeah,
2024. I have to put that in perspective because I don't know when you're going to release this
yeah.
video.
It'll be out if you're watching this on Friday. It's out today, March 8th.
Yeah,
We Terminator timeline. We're shot it yesterday on Thursday.
right.
So there you go. Thursday the 7th is when we recorded it. Friday the 8th is when it's coming out. So you're going right back into the thick of it. Just more food.
Into the thick of it.
Into
I'm happy that Crash is able to make it. He says he wasn't going to, and I'm kind of like, man, I'm gonna have to eat all this food by myself. But he's going.
Good.
I know Funnel Cake Vlog is going, and he's relieved that we're going because
Mhm.
he doesn't have to eat all the food by himself either.
Well, he went to the event. He went to the media event too, didn't he? Did they eat
Yes.
any food for that? They
Oh
actually
yeah. Oh,
tried the
he
food. So
did.
he's tried a lot of it already.
He's tried a lot of it,
No.
and
So
you
now he
know,
just gets to watch everybody else's faces when they eat it.
well, see, I mean, like, I'll put in this perspective, like with Randy, if there's something he doesn't like, he'll tell you.
Mhm.
He'll tell you.
I would hope so.
No, he does. It's just funny because people like, I don't believe like anything he's saying, whether the food is good or not. And I've been there with him. We're trying the food at the same time, and it's delicious.
Mhm. Oh
So,
yeah.
he it it's weird. I mean, some people probably think he's fake. I don't, because well, I know him and we're there together, and I'm just like scratching my head, like, okay. I've done videos with Janice. I'm pretty sure Janice is going to be there,
Oh yeah.
and she's a little kind-hearted soul.
Yeah, well,
And
that's her
sometimes I'll,
personality, though. That's
yeah.
who she is.
When you
Some
see
people
her
are just
pause,
like that, and that's okay.
no, but it's
We love
what's
you,
funny
Janice.
is, she was my first subscriber, so I'm very loyal to her.
And well,
Um,
and she's loyal to you, I'm sure. She's loyal to it. That is a big major attribute of hers.
yeah, she is, and sometimes like I'll tell her when she's like pausing for a while, like, how should I rate this? I go, come on, don't go easy. I see it on your face. I know you're gonna say A minus, but it's a B.
Just got to give
She
her that
starts
little
laughing.
push.
Yeah, like come on, rate it the way you think it should be,
Yeah.
So you
Most
have
people
that,
do
and
okay with constructive criticism. Just
yeah,
don't
as
be
long as you
mean
give
about
them
it.
a reason why,
Yeah.
and that's what I always try to do. It's just like, it's just like the flavor's not there,
Yeah.
or the texture's like off. I'm like, you know. I always try to be as honest as I can, try to describe it. Sometimes I'm biased because, I really like an item and it has potential. So I'll
Hmm.
rate it a little bit higher, so I'm just revealing myself here and what I do.
Well, that's just an
You
excuse for me
know,
to go back and get it again.
right.
I
And
think
I've,
this
I've
could be
done
better. I'm
that.
going to try a second helping.
Yeah, and I've done that too. It's just like, like the mudslide, I go, I can't help it. I had to get another one. I don't really review it. And I'll just say, see, that's how good it is.
There you go.
But yet Knott's won't bring it back. Come on, Knott's.
What are they doing? Well, I
I
mean,
know.
the there's still time. I mean, maybe not for Boysenberry Festival, but there's still time for them to bring it back for something. I mean,
No,
I'm not sure how good of a summer drink it is. Nobody really wants milk.
no, they're really good at like variety, and
Yeah.
they won't bring something back just because we're like begging for it. They'll probably do it like the next year. They'll probably bring it back.
Yeah, just to give it a year to breathe.
Right, right, because they don't want to overdo something.
Right.
Just keep bringing it out, bringing it out, bringing it out. Even though it's like a favorite and it sells more,
Hmm.
they just want you to have that anticipation that, hey, we could bring it back.
Right.
And that's what they do. That's what they do with the meatball. I noticed there was no meatball this year. I'm like,
I
oh,
didn't even realize that. You're right.
they don't have it this year. I go,
That's
okay.
interesting. They have the meatball
And that's
pizza.
well, yeah, I mean, you can do that, but that's what I mean. They're trying to do a variety. They're not like, I'm gonna beat this dead horse until there's nothing left of it. And that's like what Disney does, but Knott's doesn't do that.
Hmm.
They give you that anticipation. They'll get complaints. Why didn't you bring this out? And Knott's hears you. They hear everything you say. And that's like a segue for the Montezuma. But
Nice. I
they
like
hear
that.
they hear everything you say. They watch all the videos. They know who you are.
Hmm.
And when you go and speculate something, they're laughing because like that's totally wrong.
Yep. Oh, I don't
Not
know.
anything that's
I can't
happening.
I can't tell you how many people I met at Scary Farm last year that were
Uh-huh.
telling me like I would watch you try to make sense of certain things and like speculate certain ideas of what you think they are. And I wanted so bad to just yell at you and say, you are not even close. Like,
Yeah.
and a lot of times I really wasn't close. Like I really wasn't. There were some times where I like was like, okay, like I get a pass, like with the spiders in the chilling chambers and stuff. My whole thing was I thought it was going to be something with spiders because they really they I don't remember if you remember Midsummer Scream, they had the whole art concept of the spider that ended up being it was like the lantern interaction area over by the waterfall by the
Yeah.
river rapids. And I
Yeah.
thought, and then they had another one, like they have the spider over the exit to the Legacy store. And I was like, okay, they're really, really leaning into the spider thing. And it's been a long time since they've had anything that involves spiders. So I was like, well, this is going to be some sort of spider thing, right?
Right.
No, but I mean, in essentially, it was everything when it was nothing when we had the chilling chambers. So
Well, like I said, Knott's pays attention to what people are
yes,
speculating.
they do.
If someone hits it right, they change it because they want the art of surprise.
I feel like that's what
You
John
know,
Murdy does with horror nights too.
yeah, and it's like if too much information gets out at the last minute, they'll do the changes.
Yeah.
And well, the biggest one was Bloodlines. It
Hmm.
was supposed to be vampires versus werewolves.
Werewolves. Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool. And then they changed it last minute.
Hmm. I like what they
I was
changed it
like,
to though. It's kind of
well,
a
I
vampires versus
missed the
vampires
part with
thing,
the
but
I missed the part with the guns. So
yeah.
I've only been there, once with the 50th anniversary. So like when I walked it, I was kind of like, I don't get the concept because that's when they took away the guns. I
Well, the problem
go,
with the guns is it wasn't just the guns either. It was the pre-show, and then they did like two other shows in the middle of the maze, so they kept stopping groups of people, and it just made the line move way too slow. So I appreciated
gotcha.
them just kind of turning it into a regular maze, but yeah, there's really nothing special about it now. Like the maze was
No,
made to be like Infected was. It's supposed to be a
yeah,
laser tag maze kind of thing. Um,
yeah.
so
I'm just sorry that I missed that, but
yeah.
you know, at least the
Well,
last time when I went through there, I got squirted with water, and I'm like,
oh,
what the heck?
I got squirted every maze. I'm like, why do all these mazes squirt water at you? Every single one of them. It's cold outside,
Yeah.
guys. Come on, it's cold.
I I was like, I hope that's water. That's
Right?
all I thought. Because it got
I hope
all over
nobody's
my
playing
camera.
tricks
I'm
on
like,
me.
darn it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to end this without talking about Montezuma because you brought it up and we were going to segue to it. And I don't want to get into a whole rant about Scary Farm because I'm running up against it here. But
Okay.
how do you feel about that? Montezuma coming back in 2025.
Well, the thing was, like, everybody was kind of saying, we don't think it's coming back. They don't have it on the app anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like the promos for the Camp Snoopy, it looks like it's extending into the area that Montezuma's in.
Yeah.
And my feeling was, 2020 is hindsight, whether you believe what I say or not after the fact that it's coming back,
Mm-hmm.
is I was like, well, I'm sorry, but Montezuma was an icon, part of Knott's. Like you say Montezuma's Revenge, everybody goes, Knott's Berry Farm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good ride. Okay. So if they were going to get rid of Montezuma for whatever reason, what else could go there?
Yeah.
Giga
Not much.
Coaster? I mean, not much could fit in there.
Yeah.
And so I just had the hopes that Knott's was going to, bring it back or something, or just
Mm-hmm.
finish what they had started. And, I still had the hope in that. That's how I was broadcasting everything. Like, as soon as I said, like, there's a possibility they could be in litigation over the construction of it, like they weren't supposed to do this or that, so they
Mm-hmm.
could have a lawsuit going, so they can't touch it until the lawsuit's over.
Right.
And then it was probably coincidental when I said that everybody started talking, oh yeah, they're in the lawsuit. And I go, no, 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 that's not what I said. I was saying if they are in the lawsuit, they
Yeah.
can't touch anything until it's done.
And you can't
And
really say
then,
anything about it either. You can't.
right,
Their hands
right,
were completely tied. You got to
exactly,
basically treat it like a crime scene at that point.
right, right. Because what if they need to go back to
Yep.
see what you were talking about?
And which I'm pretty sure that they did a few times. There were a couple times where I went to the park and there was like 6 or 7 people wandering around looking like at where the loop was, looking
Yeah,
underneath the loading platform where the flywheel was. Like they're just and they weren't like marked employees or anything. They were just hard hat, orange vest, random people
right,
just going around. You can tell that they're talking about certain points that were probably very vital to the litigation in general, kind of where they stood at where they could go. Were they able to? Is it something that they can backtrack from, or are they
right,
going to have to start from scratch? You know what I mean?
right,
Because the big thing is a lot of people said that the loop they had to cut off, and that was kind of the turning point, because once
right.
they cut the loop off, you're like, well, now you're screwed. You either replace the
Yeah,
whole track or you take the ride away.
yeah, and I think they have to replace the whole track.
They
And I
might.
said this in one of my video, whereas if they were to bring it back, they have to replace the track
Mhm.
because it's been taken apart for so long that things are happening inside that track that can make it a safety issue, like rust,
Right.
instability.
Yeah.
And since they took down the spike and someone made it a point and they unbolted it, they didn't cut it.
Right. I was going to say that they actually didn't cut the spike out. They unbolted it.
Right.
So
That part could probably be refurbished, but then, we're talking, well, it came out in 1978.
78.
You may, if you're going to refurbish the whole thing, and it's not considered an actual real landmark by the
Mhm.
city, it's by the American Coaster Entertainment of this, ACE.
Okay.
Um, they can replace anything that they need to. It's safety. But it's going to be, Montezuma's again. You're going to have the same type of
Yep.
track.
The cars
And
will
I
be
don't, I
different.
don't, yeah, the cars will be different. I don't think that the way that they were doing it is going to handle that, you're going to go in reverse this time
Mm-hmm.
because that's a lot of pressure. Like you shooting the car back. That spike was only handling the car with the momentum from coming backwards from the other spike.
Right. Yeah, they'd have to probably double the height of that spike.
Double the height. And then also like they were trying to support that whole spike. And I don't think that was gonna work.
Yeah, I don't think it can. That's a lot of force to kick that. And
Yeah,
then you'd have to shoot them again. Otherwise, you risk them not being able to make that loop.
correct.
Because they can't
Correct.
go over the loop, up that front spike, and then back over the loop again. I don't think they'd have enough
Correct.
momentum for that. So yeah, you're probably right. They probably will just have to just do what they did before and just go the one way. But they'll have the cars facing. You can either do it facing forward or facing backward. So there's that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to be set up. I have a feeling all the cars are going to stay in one direction,
I hope not.
and you're either going to go backwards or forward
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to do either way anyway.
Right.
But my prediction is basically they're going to take everything down, leave the footing. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to like inspect the footing to see if there's any like cracks because there's rumors of the concrete being cracked
Of
and
course.
replacing all that, and then they
Mm-hmm.
just build it from the ground up because they still have all the electronics there. All they have
Right.
to do is replace the wiring. So you, as electricians do, you just tie one in and pull the old stuff out as you're pulling the new stuff through,
Right.
and that
Yeah.
takes like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. And they're going to use an LSM system for the launch, right? The
I'm
same
not
thing that they use for
sure.
accelerator.
I mean, that's possible, but even accelerator it took them a long time to get the part.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So they need to
But
avoid that, like all the downtime to get a part because I mean,
yeah,
from my understanding, the part for accelerator was what they call it offshore
it was. Oh yeah,
place,
it
and
took them years to get
yeah,
that stupid thing shipped over here.
yeah, and I'm not sure if they're even designing coasters like that anymore. So they had to basically send out the old part, have them remanufacture it, and then
Yep,
send it back.
that was what took so long.
Yeah, so you don't want to do that with Montezuma's. You want something that's
Mm,
relatively new that's manufactured locally. And that way, if the part breaks, you don't have a long downtime.
right. Well, if there's one thing Six Flags is good at, it's being buddy buddy with a lot of these coaster companies.
And
So I think
that's
that'll
how
help
Knott's is
Cedar
going to
Fair.
benefit greatly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the merger personally.
So did I.
I think it's gonna bring a lot of revenue because they're able to, well, let's say what if they do a pass where you can go to all their parks? It's gonna be expensive, but
Yeah. Worth it though.
yeah, exactly. You can like plan a vacation. Oh, I'm gonna go to the park here. There's a Cedar Fair and a Six Flags right next to each other, and I got the pass.
There you go. And not only that, there's probably water parks there. They've got like 7 marinas throughout the country or something, and aquariums.
Yeah,
Like they got all kinds of stuff that you can go and do.
yeah.
You know, so it's
And it's just like their merchandising. Like if you're looking at Knott's merchandising, it's
Mhm.
getting better and better
That's
and
true.
better to where I'm like, I want to buy this stuff because normally I don't buy the merchandise because I
Right.
don't need another article of clothing or anything else in my house. I mean, it's like I got to buy a bigger house or rent a bigger house to like store my stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
but they're doing a great job. I really like the Spirit jersey from Knott's.
I'm excited to see where this goes. Obviously not in the. I mean, well, I mean, who knows? Because there's like like we were saying, right after the merger, then they're like, okay, and also Camp Snoopy is being redone, and also Montezuma's Revenge or Montezuma Forbidden Fortress is
Yeah.
coming back, and over Magic Mountain, we're going to tear down this theater and probably put a new Giga in. So I mean, right away, they just hit the ground running. They're just like, look, this happened before the ink's even dry. We're going to go ahead and just go full sprint on all these projects. And then Knott's made a partnership with Westcom Bank. So they're going to have a credit union right there in the entrance. So there's so many things to be excited about. And all the while, they're not slowing down on all the normal operation stuff. They still did Peanuts Celebration. They're still doing Boysenberry Festival. They're going to do Summer Nights and Ghost Town Alive. So everything is still business as usual, just with all this other stuff happening too, to give you something to look forward to. And I think that this is just a tip of the iceberg. I think they're like, okay, let's get this stuff taken care of because this is doable now, and then start planning out for, the mid to far future, which I don't have time to get into right now, but it could be possibly even more exciting.
Well, just remember, in business, you're working on a budget from last year.
Yep.
Because everything reflects what you did the year prior to how your budget's going to be for this year. So everything was already in motion anyway. That's why people will argue the fact of, well, you guys could have done this, because now it's 2 theme parks in one. Where's the budget at? Well, it's from a budget from last year before the merger. So this is already in play. Even Montezuma, that was already in play. And Camp Snoopy was already in play too.
Right. And that's
for the renovation.
Which, and now they've got this as well.
Right. So now in May, when they finally finalize the merger, then you're going to start getting budgets. You're going to start seeing they could concentrate on one park at a time,
right,
and to get it up to specs, and then you start making money for that, and then your budget gets a little bit bigger. If they do the snowball effect, they're going to succeed. But if they try to do everything all at once, it's going to be a failure. It's kind of like paying your bills off.
Yeah, that's
snowball
true.
it. You have to snowball it. Get that payment bigger with everything that you pay off, and then you're going to succeed in getting out of debt. But if you try to attack everything all at once, you're never going to make it.
You get overwhelmed. Yeah.
But yet you're still spending as much money as it. You're like Elon Musk.
Oh my gosh. Something very I'm very excited, and I'm looking forward to it.
So am I.
It's gonna be awesome.
Knott's is showing that they're improving and they're listening to the customer. So if everybody out there in theme park land writes letters to Knott's, not complaining but congratulating them, I'm glad you guys are on the right track. I love how your merchandise is just on par with whatever festival you're doing. It's something that I would buy and probably wear. They like hearing that.
Right.
If there's
and they deserve to hear that stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm just sad that we don't have the wacky soapbox racers anymore, because I probably just go there all the time and just ride that. I mean, it's like as soon as we get off, we just go run back to the entrance and get right back on it. It was the best ride there, but some people disagree.
No, not everything's for everybody.
No, and I know things don't last forever, and Splash Mountains, but it's just, I don't know. Some things need to be changed. Some things don't.
Left alone.
I'm glad that Montezuma's basically going to be the same ride, but just with a twist.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, Quentin, it has been awesome. And I probably could have sat and done this for another 4 hours because I love talking about theme parks and life. And I just love getting to know people. And when you have these kind of long form conversations, you really get a much better idea of who the people are that you're talking to.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I appreciate you coming here, man, on super short notice. I know it was just kind of a spur of the moment thing, and I'm really glad you were able to make this work. And I'm looking forward to Midsummer Scream and Scary Farm and all the things that are coming up this year. And I hope that we eventually get to do some of this stuff together.
Well, I mean, if you're going to Midsummer Scream, like on a Saturday, you most likely see me there.
Well, there you go. It's a date, my friend.
There you go.
One more time, you want to tell everybody where they can catch you?
My channel is called Wicked Journey. I have it set up to where you type in Wicked Journey and I show up at the top. Of course, I'm battling the movie Wicked right now.
It's true. That is true. I can. I can.
And then I'm also on Instagram as Wicked Journey 69 on Instagram, and I do post not a lot of stuff like I do on YouTube, but when I remember, post all the different food there and some shots and stuff like that. So
us guys aren't so social media savvy anymore. I have to get a nice little nudge in the right direction to post on my Instagram and stuff too. But again, thank you so much, Quentin. And I hope we can do this again in the future, man.
Well, thank you for having me, Josh. And yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, good times, man. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Quentin from Wicked Journey. There you have it. That was a heck of a conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are still here at this point, you are the real hero. We look forward to seeing you guys back in the park at some point in time. I'm not really sure what my schedule is going to be calling for in the next week or so, but I'm sure I'll be out and about somewhere, and I hope that I can see y'all there too. Until then, catch y'all on that flippity flop.